All right, so here's the deal. It is closing time here at Pro Chevrolet in Sault Ste. Marie, where I work, and I'm outside in the cold because I have a video I want to share with you today. And you know, I'm standing right now in front of a 2022 GMC Sierra HD truck because I want to talk about HD today. Yes, the 2023 Silverado and Sierra HD trucks, because I keep getting questions asking me, Jeff, what is changing? When are the changes coming? You know, what are we getting when we get into a 2022? Well, really, as you can see just from the outside of this one, we're getting pretty much the same thing. We're going to talk about that, but we are going to talk about the changes I know so far on the 2023 refreshed GMC Sierra Chevy Silverado HD trucks. Let's get going. So we need to clear something up, and we need to get something out of the way right off the top of this video, and that is that the current 2022 GMC Sierra Chevy Silverado HD trucks, 2500, 3500s, will not be receiving the same interior change treatment that we are to expect and we are going to see in the spring of 2022 for the half-ton Silverado and Sierra trucks. That means they're not getting the big touchscreen. The current 2022 Silverado and Sierra HD heavy-duty trucks are virtually the exact same things that we saw in 2021. There is no changes in the truck at all. As you saw from the truck I was showing you outside, that HD Sierra, the exterior, interior, there is no changes. You're sticking with the 8-inch touchscreen, of course, if you're in the mid to higher trim levels, and everything else, the column shifter, all that kind of stuff. What we're going to be talking about today is what is potentially coming for the 2023 model year. So some of you out there who are waiting for some changes are going to want to wait for the 2023 model. Now, what's interesting about this whole story is the fact that, you know, we were expecting some changes to come for 2023. Then I did videos a while back reporting that, hey, listen, this isn't going to happen until 2024 now with all of the, you know, the shortages and all that kind of stuff. And now it's flipped back, and GM has been kind of, alluding to the fact that we are going to be seeing a refreshed, essentially, version of the HD trucks coming for the 2023 model year. And I would expect, of course, it's probably going to be later into the 2023 model year. But let's talk about some of the things that I sort of know so far. Well, of course, one of the things we want to change and hopefully have a change in first is potentially more horsepower and more torque. And that is something I'm going to leave till the end, actually, because there is rumors and some pretty credible information that is coming. But first of all, let's talk about some of the exterior changes that we're hoping and potentially going to be seeing. Now, at the time of this video, I hadn't gotten permission to share the spy photos of some of them testing out there with obviously the camouflage wrap. I am going to include a link in the description if I don't get the approval before this, where I can add the pictures. And it's my where I got these pictures, or would have got these pictures, are from my great friends over at gm/shrucks.com. So again, I'll include that link below for you to check them out. But there's really not much to see because it's all camouflage, right? But the idea, though, is a big, telling sign that the Chevrolet Silverado HD is going to have a more massive front end looks change than we are currently probably going to expect on the GMC. And the main reason for that is because there's a division. There is clearly a division when it comes to the looks of the front end of the HD Silverado, in terms of how bold it is. And some of you love it, some of you don't like it. I'm one of the ones that do like it, depending on the trim, of course. Not so much in the chrome, but I definitely like it in the full painted front end. But regardless of all that, it sounds as though they're going to go with a change in the front in terms of the headlight, where the bar is located, and it's just not going to be as loud as what we are currently seeing. And hopefully it might be something like the thumbnail in this picture, where they take something like off the ZR2 and put on that kind of new style front end. I'm not really sure, but there is going to be changes on the front end of both of these, much like we've seen a refresh in half-ton trucks. Nothing super dramatic in terms of the GMC, but a minor tweak, same thing with the Chevy. But I think we're going to see more of a massive change on the Chevy HD. And unlike the Silverado and Sierra half-tons, the Silverado and Sierra HD trucks are apparently going to have potentially a little bit of a change in the back end as well, in terms of what it's going to look like. Maybe a little bit of a taillight change, tailgate change. I'm not exactly sure, but that is coming hopefully for 2023 in this refresh. Now, past that, we also have some more things that we are kind of alluding to, knowing that is going to probably be changing, which is what I talked about off the top in regards to the interior of these trucks. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer to expect that we are going to see some of the changes that we've seen on the refreshed Silverado Sierras. Half tons coming to the full size in terms of the larger 13.4-inch color touchscreen, the configurable digital screen in front of the driver, which, even from a cost perspective, to make more of them, it's going to be cheaper. So it only makes sense to have these. Now, the only thing I'm not entirely sure of, because I know that a lot of the HD truck customers out there are very much prone to wanting that column shift. I know for a fact we will see that column shift, at least in the lower trim levels. Whether they go to the center console shift, the electric console shift, in these HD trucks like we're currently seeing in the half tons, not 100%. I haven't seen any full interior pictures of them testing yet. Of course, I will let you know when I do know. But I do expect, at the very least, the larger touchscreens. And one of the things that I get asked about a lot is the Super Cruise. I feel like maybe for 2023, we're not going to see the Super Cruise. Past that, it's hard to say. I think they probably are going to want to try the towing and everything else with the half ton at least for a year or two first. That seems to be the way that usually things go with some of the new applications. But past that, I did say there was, you know what? Before I get to the horsepower and torque aspect, the other question I keep getting asked a lot is, Jeff, are they going to come out with an AT4X or a ZR2 version of the HD trucks? My honest answer to that is I do not believe so, at least again, not for 2023. Part of my reason for that is because, when we look at a current AT4, for an example, it doesn't have a 2-inch lift. It doesn't have any of the things other than the looks perspective that our current AT4 half-ton does. So if you go to an AT4X, that's a really hardcore off-road truck. And I just don't see the 3/4 truck, customer out there right now, for the most part. Okay, there's going to be some of you that are different. But for the most part, a lot of those customers are simply just towing. They're not going and off-roading these things as much as they are maybe their half-tons. I just really don't think that the AT4X and the ZR2 are going to come to fruition in 2023, maybe down the road, maybe once you see the success or not success in the half-ton trucks, you might see that, but don't hold your breath for those coming for 2023. And then lastly, again, I did say that I would talk about horsepower and torque, and I did do a video of this back in September, thanks to information from the people, the awesome guys over at TFL Trucks. Those are it's a really reliable source, and I think they got it from a reliable source. But it sounds as though we are going to have an increase in the horsepower and torque of the Duramax diesel engine, the 6.6. And what they're saying right now, our current horsepower and torque on those motors is 445 horsepower and 910 foot-pound of torque, right? Well, the expectation that we are hoping to see, seems like it might be a reality, is 505 horsepower, so definitely a increase in the horsepower, and 1,085 foot-pound of torque. Now, how that compares to our competitors, the other two main 3/4 ton brands in the Ram and the Ford. Well, first of all, the Ford Powerstroke is producing 475 horsepower and 1,050 foot-pound of torque, so we beat them. And then the 6.7-liter Cummins is currently producing 420 horsepower, and 1,075 foot-pound of torque. So provided these rumors are true, we should be seeing an increase in the horsepower. So again, if you're looking at potentially getting into a 3/4 ton truck and you want some of the new features and you're potentially wanting more power, my direction to you would be to wait for the 2023. Not that there's a whole lot of 2022s available for sale right now. The one I showed you today at the start of this video was sold anyways because they're being sold before they even arrive on our dealership lots. But in the meantime, again, if you're not in dire straits, dire need, what I would suspect doing is, just waiting for a little bit until they release some of this information. Of course, I will be here. I will be telling you about all the new information the second I have it. If there's any more photos with the inside or any more details about the outside or the horsepower or the torque, anything changes from what I've told you today, I will definitely bring it your way. But I keep getting asked for an HD update. This is the update I have for you today. Again, any more news on it, I will let you know. Hit that subscribe button, though, so you don't miss out on it. As always, thanks so much for watching. Take care, everybody.